In this video, I'm going to break down your 60-second sit-up test. I'll first go through the setup for the test on how you're going to set up at home. I'll go through what we're looking for a perfect repetition. I'm going to outline some of the common errors that we see, and then I'll give you some ideas on how to train and be successful. So the first thing you're going to need is a stopwatch or timer of some sort that we're going to be able to see in the video. So have somebody timing it or have an iPad like I have set up. Then you're going to set your feet anchored, whether it's underneath weights like I have, a person standing on them, or you can hook them underneath of a bed or a bench or whatever you find. Then you're going to come down to your back and make your knees create a 90-degree angle. Your hands are going to cross and you must have both hands on top of your shoulder. A full repetition is going to be a full sit-up, elbows touching the top of your knees and coming back down to touch your shoulder blades. All of those things must be right in order for the repetition to count. So hands stay on the shoulders the whole time, elbows touch the very tops of the knees, and you come right down. I'll now just show a couple of the common errors that we see. The number one error we see is the removal of the hands. So you can't take your hands off your shoulder, and if they leave even for a second, that repetition will not count. So really grip on to those shoulders to keep them there the whole time. A lot of people then try to hold on to their t-shirt instead, but as you can see, your hands are slipping down and then technically they're not on your shoulders. The next error is that your elbows aren't reaching the tops of your knees. So they can't hit the middle thigh like they are right here. They have to reach up and touch all the way to the top of your kneecaps. This one here, you can tell that I'm not going down to touch my shoulder blades. So you have to make sure that you're coming all the way down till shoulder blades make contact with the ground. And then in the similar way, you're not coming all the way up. So again, just half repetitions. I'll now just go through a few exercises to help you train for this test. The number one way to train for this test is to do this exact test. Test yourself multiple times a week and see how your numbers increase. The rest of the exercises are just ways to train your core. So your core has multiple areas that you want to make sure you're focusing. So these ones here are going to be focusing on your lower abdomen and into your hip flexors. This is called a dead bug. Again, it's just going to be working on a bit of coordination and on those hip flexors and the lower part of your abdomen. Always keeping that back completely flat on the ground and then alternate the arms and legs. So the sides of your abs or your obliques are any twist of your torso. So here's some bicycle crunches. That's a good way to hit those oblique muscles. Always make sure that your bike's not going too fast, so really controlled movements. The next one here I'm setting up for is a plank, which is a great core exercise, especially for endurance, which this test is testing the muscular endurance. So keeping yourself in that flat line, and then timing yourself for a minimum 60 seconds longer if you can work up to it. Another part of your core that many people miss is your low back. So I threw in a couple low back exercises. Here again, it's just alternating arm, alternating leg, keeping everything really controlled, pulling the belly button in, and keeping that back flat as you raise your leg and your arm. So that was your sit-up test. Just a couple things to remember when you're submitting your final test. Because this is a 60-second test, we will need to see that you're using a timer just so we know that you didn't continue those reps once the 60 seconds were over. So it might be helpful to have an assistant with you if you're able to do so. If not, just set up a timer on a device that you're not using to record so that we can see it when it's complete. And other than that, I hope it was helpful to see the demonstration and some of the tips on how you can successfully train for this throughout your semester. As always, if you have any more questions, just shoot me an email and I'm happy to help out.